Bullies thought they had trapped her, the shy girl proved them wrong. A story by Heartfelt Tales. The bathroom door slammed shut with a sound that echoed like a gunshot through Maya's chest. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she heard the unmistakable scrape of something heavy being dragged across the floor outside, a chair, maybe a desk, barricading her inside. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting harsh shadows that made the small space feel even more suffocating. 3 girls stood between her and the only exit, their faces twisted with cruel satisfaction. Maya's hands trembled as she clutched her worn backpack straps, knowing that this moment would either break her completely or forge her into something stronger. If this story moves you, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, comment below with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe to Heartfelt Tales for more inspiring stories that touch the soul. Maya Chen had always been the invisible girl. At 17, she had perfected the art of disappearing, walking close to walls, keeping her head down, speaking only when spoken to. Her thick-rimmed glasses and oversized sweaters served as armor against a world that seemed determined to remind her she didn't belong. Lincoln High School was a battlefield where popularity was currency, and Maya was bankrupt. The bullying had started subtly in freshman year. A snicker here, a whispered comment there. But by senior year, it had evolved into something more sinister. The ringleader was Chelsea Morrison, a girl whose beauty was matched only by her cruelty. With her perfectly styled blonde hair and designer clothes, Chelsea commanded respect through fear. Her 2 loyal followers, Brittany and Sage, hung on her every word like devoted disciples. Maya's crime was simple: she existed. In a world where Chelsea demanded absolute attention, Maya's quiet intelligence and genuine kindness to others was somehow seen as a threat. When Maya had quietly corrected a factual error in Chelsea's presentation during history class, earning a grateful smile from their teacher, the war had officially begun. The challenges Maya faced went far beyond typical teenage drama. Every day brought new humiliations. Her locker was vandalized with cruel messages. Her lunch was accidentally knocked to the floor. Social media became a weapon, with fake accounts created to spread rumors and embarrassing photos. The administration's anti-bullying policies were toothless against such calculated psychological warfare. But the worst part wasn't the public humiliation, it was the isolation. Other students, terrified of becoming targets themselves, gave Maya a wide berth. Teachers, overwhelmed and understaffed, either didn't notice or chose to look the other way. Even Maya's parents, loving but busy with their own struggles, missed the signs of their daughter's daily torment. Maya's grades began to suffer. Her appetite vanished. Dark circles formed under her eyes from sleepless nights spent wondering what fresh hell awaited her at school. She had become a ghost of herself, existing but not truly living. The confident little girl who once raised her hand eagerly in elementary school had been systematically dismantled, piece by piece. The bathroom incident happened on a Tuesday in late April. Maya had been rushing to her next class when nature called. The second-floor bathroom was usually empty during this period, making it her preferred refuge. But as she pushed open the heavy door, she walked straight into a trap. Chelsea, Brittany, and Sage were waiting. The ambush had been carefully planned. They had watched Maya's patterns, knowing her schedule better than she realized. As the door swung shut behind her, Maya heard the scrape of furniture being pushed against it from the outside, one of their accomplices ensuring no one could enter or leave. "Well, well," Chelsea purred, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "If it isn't our favorite little mouse. You've been avoiding us, Maya. That's not very polite." Maya's throat went dry. The bathroom suddenly felt smaller, the walls closing in. Brittany moved to Maya's left while Sage blocked her right. There was nowhere to run. We've been thinking, Chelsea continued, examining her manicured nails with mock interest, about how much better this school would be without certain distractions. You know what I mean. Maya's voice came out as barely a whisper. I haven't done anything to you. Haven't done anything? Chelsea's laugh was sharp as broken glass. You exist. You sit there in class with your weird little answers, making the rest of us look bad. You think you're so special, don't you? With your perfect grades and your teacher's pet act? The accusations were absurd, but Maya had learned that logic held no power here. These girls fed on fear, and she could smell her own terror in the stale bathroom air. I just want to graduate and leave, Maya said, her voice barely audible. Oh, but that's months away, Sage chimed in, her voice sickeningly sweet. And we can't have you walking around thinking you're better than everyone else for that long. Brittany pulled out her phone, and Maya's blood ran cold. Smile, freak. This is going on every social media platform. Maybe we'll call it Loser's Last Stand or something catchy like that. Maya's mind raced. She was trapped, literally cornered with nowhere to go. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting everything in harsh, unflattering light. She could hear her own heartbeat, could feel sweat beading on her forehead despite the cool air. But then something shifted inside her. Maybe it was the accumulation of months of torment, or perhaps it was the realization that she had nothing left to lose. The fear that had paralyzed her for so long began to transform into something else, a white-hot anger that started in her chest and spread outward like wildfire. You know what? Maya said, her voice stronger than it had been in months. I'm done. Chelsea raised an eyebrow. Done with what? Done with you. Done with this. Done with being afraid. The three girls exchanged glances. This wasn't the cowering response they expected. Are you seriously trying to act tough right now? Chelsea laughed, but there was an edge of uncertainty in her voice. You're trapped, Maya. Nobody's coming to save you. Maya looked around the bathroom, her mind working with a clarity she hadn't felt in years. The heavy door, the one they thought would trap her, suddenly seemed like an opportunity. She had watched enough action movies with her brother to know that sometimes the best defense was a good offense. You're right, Maya said, surprising them all. Nobody's coming to save me. I have to save myself. Before anyone could react, Maya sprinted toward the door. But instead of trying to push it open against the barricade, she did something unexpected. She kicked it. Hard. The door flew outward with tremendous force, catching the girl who had been leaning against it from the outside completely off guard. The makeshift barricade of chairs and desks went clattering across the hallway floor. The impact sent the accomplice stumbling backward, and the sound echoed through the entire second floor like a thunderclap. Chelsea, Brittany, and Sage were momentarily stunned. In their shock, they had moved away from Maya, giving her a clear path to freedom. But Maya wasn't running. Not anymore. You want to film something? Maya said, her voice steady and clear. Film this. She turned to face her tormentors, and they saw something in her eyes that made them take a step back. The mouse had become a lion. I'm done being your victim, Maya continued, her voice growing stronger with each word. I'm done letting you make me feel small. I'm done pretending that your cruelty is somehow my fault. Other students were beginning to gather in the hallway, drawn by the commotion. Maya could see phones being raised, cameras activated. But for the first time in months, she didn't care who was watching. "You three are bullies," Maya said, her voice carrying clearly through the corridor. "You're cruel, insecure people who try to make yourselves feel better by tearing others down. But I'm not going to let you do it anymore." Chelsea's face was red with embarrassment and rage. "You think you're so brave now? This isn't over, freak." "Yes, it is," Maya replied with quiet conviction. "It's over because I'm done participating in your games. You can't bully someone who refuses to be bullied." The crowd in the hallway was growing, and Maya could see teachers pushing their way through. But she wasn't finished. "And to everyone watching," Maya said, her voice carrying to every corner of the corridor, "this is what happens when you finally stand up. It's scary. It's hard. But it's worth it." In the days that followed, Maya's life changed in ways she never expected. The video of her confrontation went viral, not as a humiliation but as an inspiration. Students who had suffered in silence reached out to her, sharing their own stories of bullying and finding strength in her example. The administration, finally forced to acknowledge the problem, implemented real consequences for Chelsea, Brittany, and Sage. More importantly, they began taking bullying reports seriously and created support systems for victims. Maya discovered that her act of defiance had given her something she had lost along the way, her voice. She began speaking up in class again, sharing her insights without fear. She joined the debate team, where her quick thinking and passionate arguments earned her respect. She even started a support group for students who had experienced bullying, creating the safe space she had always wished existed. The transformation wasn't immediate or easy. Maya still had days when the old fears crept back in, when she wanted to hide behind her oversized sweaters and disappear. But each time, she remembered the feeling of that door flying open, the sound of those chairs clattering to the floor, and the power she had discovered within herself. Her relationship with her parents improved too. Finally understanding what their daughter had been going through, they became her strongest advocates. They worked with the school, attended support group meetings, and helped Maya realize that asking for help wasn't weakness, it was strength. By graduation, Maya had become something she never thought possible, a leader. Her valedictorian speech focused on the power of standing up for oneself and others, drawing standing ovations from classmates who had once ignored her suffering. Chelsea, Brittany, and Sage faced real consequences for their actions. Community service, counseling, and social media restrictions were just the beginning. More importantly, they were forced to confront the damage they had caused and work toward making amends. Maya's story became a beacon of hope for students across the country. She received messages from teenagers in similar situations, thanking her for showing them that they weren't alone and that they too could find their strength. The bathroom door that had once seemed like a prison had become a symbol of liberation. Maya kept a photo of it on her desk as a reminder that sometimes the barriers we perceive as insurmountable are actually opportunities waiting to be seized. As Maya prepared to leave for college, she reflected on the journey that had brought her to this point. The shy, frightened girl who had once hidden in shadows had become a confident young woman ready to face the world. She had learned that true strength wasn't about never being afraid, it was about finding the courage to act despite that fear. Her message to other victims of bullying was simple but powerful: you are not alone. You are not powerless. And you are definitely not without worth. Sometimes all it takes is one moment of courage to change everything. Don't wait for someone else to save you. Kick down your own doors. Maya's story reminds us that within each of us lies the power to transform our circumstances. Sometimes we just need to find the courage to use it. The bullies who seemed so powerful were revealed to be nothing more than frightened individuals trying to mask their own insecurities through cruelty. In the end, Maya's greatest victory wasn't in humiliating her tormentors or gaining social media fame. It was in reclaiming her sense of self-worth and helping others do the same. She had turned her pain into purpose, her suffering into strength. The bathroom door had been kicked open, but more importantly, so had the door to Maya's future. And she walked through it with her head held high, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead with the knowledge that she had already overcome the hardest one of all, the belief that she was powerless. If Maya's story has inspired you, please show your support by liking this video, sharing it with someone who might need to hear this message, commenting below with your own thoughts or experiences, and subscribing to Heartfelt Tales for more stories that remind us of the incredible strength that lies within us all. Remember, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and more capable than you imagine. Your story matters, and your voice deserves to be heard.